Hello, hello, hello. Welcome once again to a special Baat LAJA ke Saath. I'm your hostess Vandana Joshil, and today, before I go into the regular, introducing the guest, let me, as always, talk a little bit about LAJA. So, LAJA is a forum for women, and this is a non-judgmental space that we give women to be themselves. This is a space where they can share their stories, they can learn from each other, they can grow, they can become better versions of themselves. What we believe is that women don't need empowerment. All we need is a little bit of acknowledgement, a little bit of appreciation, and tons of encouragement. We have that, and we assure you we'll be much, much better and more powerful than what we are today. So, that, my friends, is Lajaf. Before, as you know, I like I told you before I go into who the guest is, let me tell you a little bit of a small story. So there was this is a story that one of my students recently told me, and I remember hearing this a long time back. So I want to narrate that story for you. So there was a farmer once whose lone horse ran away. All his friends and family came home to sympathize and told him how unfortunate he was that his lone horse ran away. He just looked at them and said, "We'll see." The very next day, his lone horse came back, and with him came a dozen wild horses. Everyone remarked on the farmer's luck. A couple of days later, the farmer's son fell off the wild horse that he was trying to tame and broke his leg. As expected, once again all the villagers came to the farmer and said, "Oh, you poor man, your son has broken his leg, and this is all because you were all these wild horses have brought you bad luck." Once again, he just nodded his head and he said, "We'll see." And then a couple of days later, the king's the king's soldiers came calling to the village. They had come to recruit all the able-bodied young boys into the army. All the farmers cried because their sons had been recruited into the army, and only our farmer stood there because his son had a broken leg, and then he was not selected. So, do you see the positivity here? There was positive thoughts. The farmer never cried about how terrible things were. He just held on to his faith. So, yes, you got it right. The topic today is positive thinking. And who better to talk to us about this than a wonderful, energetic, and an ever smiling RJ Keisha Lobo? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vandana. You actually put pressure. So I wasn't even coming on with a smile. I was coming on with like closed eyes and okay, high energy, big smile. And that's exactly how I was nurturing to coming on into your beautiful space. So thank you so much, Laja. Thank you, Vandana, and a big thank you to Riddhi Doshi, who is a very dear friend, and I'm so glad to be sharing this space with you all.
Yes. So let me introduce Keisha to you. She's a professional anchor, and she's anchored more than 1,000 shows across different industries, including conventions, conferences, corporate shows, product launches, etc. And you know why I'm stumbling so much, because there's so much of pressure on me. Here I'm sitting with an anchor. She is also anchoring her own wellness series called Mind Your Health, as you can see that in her name there. She's been a radio jockey, an English radio jockey on All India Radio, FM Radio, and Radio City, hosting weekly interactive live shows with listeners. She's worked with more than 50 corporate institutions, conducting team building games and activities. She's a dark room and therapy practitioner working on mindfulness with NGOs and private groups. So, yes, this is our guest for today. Welcome, Keisha. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm feeling good. I'm hearing, with you sharing all of that, I'm hearing this silent applause that's coming across and just feeling good. It's like I'm bathed in this happy sound energy of everybody smiling right now. And I'm hoping everybody from Laja who's watching right now is actually smiling. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yes, Keisha, so let's just get into this. Let's talk about the I mean, the importance of positive thinking and how a sustained amount of positivity will truly manage to make a difference in your life. I shared the story, but there is a gist to that. There is a reason why the story has been going on since so many ages. So
Uh, yeah, so true. It's there is this silent inkling, and it's so silent. It's a subtlety, but you have a constant guidance system within you, and it is your gut instinct. So it was and then the surrender to the gut instinct, right? So when you worked on yourself enough, and by working on yourself I mean in all your spheres, right, to be the best version of yourself, you're working on yourself mentally, you're working on yourself physically, you're working, and physically, by that I mean exercising, the food you eat, the way you dress up. You're working on yourself emotionally by making sure that you're not really carrying too much of the weight of the past, because each moment is only that, it's only a teaching, it's a space to learn, and then you move on. You don't hold on to what happened in the first standard and say, I'm so angry. You let it go, because it becomes a funny story to tell later. So once you
absolutely.
work on yourself, on all the facets of who you are, then guess what, you become this solid. And for all of us, it's I'm saying a lot, but it's a constant work in progress, because you never stop. But you become a more solid version of yourself, and when you do that, then you can actually listen to this solid voice. It's quiet, but it's a solid voice inside of you. It's your gut instinct, and it's going to be guiding you to take the right steps. So whenever we are looking outside for all, and sometimes the answers come from people who are well wishers, but guess what, you take those answers and you allow it to kind of savor on your tongue, savor in your spirit, and that allowance within yourself is your positive thinking. So
Absolutely.
don't try to only be, I can't think anything negative. Of course you can. I can't be angry, I can't be sad. Of course you can. But because you've worked on yourself, when the anger comes, you know how to handle it, because you know yourself so well. When the sadness comes, you know how to handle it. When the excitement comes, you know how to handle it. When the fan base comes, you know how to handle it.
Yeah.
When the ice cream is in your hand, you know how to handle it being there. You know how to handle savoring it, and you know how to handle the moment when you know that this ice cream is over. So
Uh,
and positive thinking is allowing you to enjoy being yourself totally, and not beating yourself up about anything, allowing yourself to enjoy being yourself. So that
wow.
is positive thinking, and
Wow,
listening to
that
your.
is that's so interesting, because we have this discussion at home all the time. Now, I personally believe, that yes, things are bad. Sometimes things go downhill as they should. You have to have the highs and the lows. But when you're down, you shouldn't be sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm down in the dumps" and things like that. And this is a discussion that I have with my mother-in-law, because she tends to get very, affected by bad news, or somebody falling sick, and she feels so terrible about that, and for the next 1 week, till the person who's sick recovers, she's really low, and that's affecting her health. So this tendency to sometimes think negative, while it is acceptable, but it does affect your mental health, because I've seen, she gets all flustered. So what power does positive thinking have for mental wellness and mental health? You are in this space, you've been working in this space, so how do you tie it together? It is
So I
okay to
think,
think sad, yes.
yes, of course it is. You have a whole uh, buffet of emotions, and
Yeah.
life is going to give you the space to enjoy each emotion. And you can choose how long you want to stay with an emotion. You have a tongue that can taste sweet and sour, bitter and pungent, tikha and salty, and you can choose how long you want to stay with each flavor. Or tikha chahiye to aur pickle khao, have more chilies. You want more sweet, enjoy your desserts. There are healthier options. So if you can choose that, and if that is in your control, then you need to put, and you know what, if that is in your control to put on your tongue, but then you need to cook, and there's a lot of background work that goes into creating that, right? The same way, you are allowed to savor different emotions, but there's a lot of background work to be able to handle how you are when every emotion is happening. And the background work actually happens through what people call mindfulness. So when I started out mind your health, it actually says mind your health. When we were in class, we'd say mind the classroom, which means look after the classroom. You're the monitor, mind the
Yes.
classroom. There's also a mind your own business, which means be in control of your own business, be in control of how you are. But also, look, the name mind your health is all of this: minding the classroom, minding your own business. Says mind, which is attention, which means your concentration, which means your awareness should be in your health. And also, it's a pun because it says mind is your health. So when you are in control of your mind, so when you want this positive space, there, the positive thinking is a beautiful title, but it's only a title. It's incredibly difficult if you're not working on yourself to just be a happy-go-lucky person, because a lot of times they say people who are completely out there and constantly making excitement in the air and stuff. A lot of times there's a lot of sadness that they're hiding underneath. But so you need to work on yourself holistically. There isn't just one part of you that you have to work on. It's so, and working on all of you is, I was recently, let me read you something that I wrote to a friend
Yes.
recently, and we were chatting about my show Mind Your Health, and I said it's interesting how all we want at our core is for people to understand who we are, to understand us in our craziness, to understand us in our sadness, to understand us in our joy, to understand our personality, and just accept who we are. But when we want them to understand us, what it really means is we want them to understand the way we think and how our mind works. But we spend most of our time working on the outside. So how are people perceiving it, perceiving me? All of us are concerned about the way our hair is and our eyebrows are, right? Not to take that away, so am I. But we're more bothered about the outside than we are about on the inside. And but so we're not really working on this inside. We're always working on the outside, but we want this inside part understood. The place that we need to keep most in order, where we need to
Yes.
have most discipline, the place we need to have the most flexibility, the place we need to give the most nourishment and nurturing, we actually let it grow incidentally without
Ah,
any conscious investment. So this is how I was for the longest time, and a lot of us are in that space. So we need to consciously work on our mind, consciously work on who we are, consciously enjoy spending time with yourself, consciously take that time out and enjoy being maybe even bored with yourself. Because if you don't spend time with you, how do you
yes.
expect you to really be that exciting, interesting person that you want other people to spend time with you, but you aren't spending time with you? So
Ah,
this whole journey is making sure that you work on your mind. All of that, the way your mind works, actually filters down into your emotions, and your emotions are your guidance system to how well you really are. So when things are happening on the outside, if you can still be your own center, if you can still be your own lighthouse, if you can still be the bolte hai na, if you can be the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, जहाँ पर इतना all around you there's
Yes.
itna, the storm has the big waves, and but you are still at its still, your stillness itself. So how it's a lifelong journey. Answers you will get so many, but the best is that you stop and spend time with you. And
Wow.
so when your mother-in-law is getting so caught up with what is happening everywhere else, it's coming from a place of she cares about them, and she wants for them to be well, but she also should work on how she handles her care. So her care
Yes.
can be asking them how they're doing without getting their discomfort or sickness, or
Yes.
and then centering it here, because when we do that is where, but as human beings we are constantly trying to tell other people we are here for you. you
Yes.
know
Yes.
so if you're feeling sick, yeah, even I'm feeling very bad, and that's how we are. We're not being fake. But the point is it helping them, or is a more positive you, is a more joyful you, telling, maybe using a sense of humor with them, cracking a couple of jokes, saying we're just waiting for you to get well, बैठ जाएंगे, अभी तो ऑनलाइन बैठेंगे एक साथ, let's make sure that we get together,
Yes.
let's have a chat session जहाँ पर whoever has the most fantastic memories, maybe they've had lots of parties together, lots of get-togethers. So have a game where everybody meets online and
Wow.
one memory. The person who runs out of memories is the person who's going to maybe treat everybody when they have their first party.
Wow.
You know, just
Yes.
putting, so using joy, using fullness of life that you have, instead of taking their lowness and pulling yourself down, take your joy and your so to say highness, your fullness of joy, and then pass it on to them so you can
Pass
lift
it
them
on to
up.
them. Absolutely, absolutely. It's so wonderful. You spoke about how the person who probably has the is forever jovial and forever happy. You don't know. Maybe there's like a deep, dark storm inside, and it's so important for people to also recognize that. Considering off late we've been hearing so many stories and things like that. Uh, uh, you sometimes wonder, you question, is that smile, what is there behind that smile, correct? Now we started off, before we went live, we were talking about how you got into this mind your health, and so I want you to share that story again with our viewers, and tell them that journey where it all began.
Once upon a time, there was a but life is stories, and sharing stories, and
Yeah.
becoming the best storyteller that you can is the you know so for our children and for ourselves, instead of just filling up our day with activities, fill our day up with stories, because we don't know who's learning from whose life experience. So
Absolutely.
sharing, yeah, so thank you for inviting my story on. And for me it started, so I was so busy with making sure that I was anchoring. I was doing 2 shows a day, doing radio, doing voiceovers for ZTV. I was the voice of Z Cafe and Z Studio and Z Trends. I was working with CNBC, traveling across the world, anchoring shows. And I've had times, where the suitcases were exchanged at the airport because I was zooming across. And
Wow.
suddenly, in 2010, 2009, my husband was in the US, and I heard in 2009 Jan, I heard about Landmark Forum. A friend of mine had done it, invited me to come across. I went across for the basic, and I did 3 days. And there's one evening, and I waited for my husband to come back and told him, I've done this amazing Landmark Forum thing, and I pretty much found answers, because it's all about improving yourself. And he told me that he had already done it when he was in college. But
Oh,
he
okay.
joined me on the journey, and we did the next level, which is the advanced. Then we did a self-expression leadership program, which is a 6-month program, and we did something else, which was a 3-month program. And we did this together. It's like both of us were preparing ourselves, or maybe our baby was preparing us to be the best parents that we can. So we were working on ourselves, and go out and find courses that you can do for yourself. But so we did this, and part of the self-expression leadership program, there's a futures meeting. Futures means you're talking about the future. How do you see a future? How do you see how rosy it is? And I saw myself with a baby girl, and I said that, and I said she's going to go to a Waldorf school, and wrote a lot of other stuff about my life and as well. But the following year, I also did neuro linguistic programming, NLP, and I did the basic. I was signed up for the advanced, but in the meantime, I got pregnant. And the beautiful thing is that this little baby girl who came into our life, she was a baby girl. I wanted to send her to a Waldorf school, but that didn't happen because it's a little far away from where we are. So guess what? I went and got certified as a Waldorf teacher, which is experiential learning. And I brought the philosophy back home to my house. I studied theater for early years with Roberto Frabetti. And I got theater back into my house. I taught at Don Bosco International in Matunga with the little ones for a year to kind of enjoy that whole flavor of doing theater for the little ones, and song and dance. And then along with that, I started doing dance movement therapy. I got certified at TIS, and then started doing, so I was already doing team building for corporates along with my anchoring, and I started doing movement and wellness, and working with NGOs, working with Kolkata Shambit, and so doing a lot of wellness space work. And I would always see that people would feel well, would feel good when I would do that 1 or 2 hour or 3 hour session, or the 1 day session. But what happens, like with anything, if you exercise 1 day, you will feel some sort of aches and pains, but your body doesn't change too much. You need to
Yes.
keep doing it every single day. Same
Yes.
the way that you're exercising your mind, this the same way that you're exercising your will, the same way that you're exercising your emotions. So you're exercising different bodies by bringing in a discipline. And when I saw that is when I started making sure that I had wellness as a part of my own life. From the time that I started out, I woke up, to the time that I went to sleep, I kept making sure that I had wellness practices right through my day. And
Wow.
it included everything from awareness and mindfulness to asking for forgiveness when I would lose my temper, because I enjoy having an opinion. I enjoy disagreeing. Sometimes I disagree in a manner that is not the most subtle. And but now, because I'm constantly working on myself, I'm able to go and ask for forgiveness without thinking that I should still come out right. I still should. So, so the whole person that I've become, I feel, is a conscious parent first, a conscious mother first, and this conscious mother is allowing me to be the best Keisha that I could ever be.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. You spoke about these practices that you follow through the day. Could you give us a small gist of it? Let me see. Maybe of course, you need to practice it and get better at it. But maybe I can try something out tomorrow or tonight.
Today.
Yeah.
So our life is filled with anchor moments, and there is a constant gentle awareness that we can have with every single breath that we take. So every time that you are feeling that exciting nahi hai, kuch mazedar hona chahiye, that is an anchor moment for you to maybe have So there are many exercises that I can teach you, but you should go to my YouTube channel, Mind Your Health with RJ Keisha. And every single episode, I've completed 20 episodes. I know that,
Wow.
you know, it's like a shout out, but actually it's not, because every single episode, Vandana, I'm interviewing such phenomenal souls, people who have worked on themselves, and they have come on board in a short 12 to 15-minute episode where they are sharing tools that you can put into your life. And don't overwhelm yourself कि मुझे ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, वो भी करना है, because we
Yes.
do that, right?
We
Suddenly
do
you
that.
want to come
Yes.
take some, you've taken some medical report and they say ये करना है, so you say अच्छा खाना भी change करेंगे, exercise भी हर रोज करेंगे, yoga भी I will bring in, meditation भी करूंगी, I will listen to music. Don't
Not
just
possible.
life is the subtleties. We we have different, so when we are born, you as a child, you're so understanding that a child will stand and fall and stand and fall, but that's because we can see that physical body. You can see the standing effort and you can see the falling. You know that that body is not strong enough to really stand, to take the couple of steps. So even one step is like, dekha, has walked 5 steps today. Wow. And you are your most patient, you're your most gentle, you're your most loving, because you can see that small physical body, right? And then when the body starts to walk or run or dance or move, you're so understanding. And you're so
Yes.
understanding when you feed that body and the body starts growing. But that's the physical visual body. You have your emotional body where we don't give any understanding. Why do you cry? Where is the
Yes.
gentleness in this baby that is inside of you? You, we don't have all the knowledge in the world. So obviously there are different levels for each body that I have. Maybe emotionally, you've not had a very, so for people who've had a really difficult time starting out, maybe in a job or in a childhood, they may have a stronger capability to handle things. But if you've not had that, then you're still a child. And when something happens and emotionally you collapse, just because you have a big physical looking body, people say, but why are you crying? But the inside emotional body to
Yes.
chota hai. You have a baby
Chota
and
hai.
you're maybe
Wow.
mentally you've not been challenged. You may have, everything may have come easy, friends may not have excluded you, you may not have had to fight your way in, you may not be, you know, if when these things happen, you constantly are learning and you're strengthening yourself and you're growing up in that body. But if mentally you're a small, you're still young, give yourself the ability and the gentleness and that love and the understanding that you do to a small child. So spend time with yourself. So
Yes.
I'm going to give you a couple of challenges, Vandana, because you said you're going to start from tomorrow. So the challenge is that you start today.
But
Have,
today,
yes, and have yourself anchor moments. And these anchor moments are to bring awareness to all of you. The easiest is to come into awareness of your physical self. So you do that with breath, you do that with maybe with your senses, with smell or sight or sound or taste. You do that with uh, just allowing yourself to concentrate maybe on one point, and or with a candle. But you allow yourself, so the coming into your physical body is the easiest. I know it's difficult for a lot of us, but actually it's something that our breath journey allows us to get into this moment.
okay.
And then you can allow yourself to go to a relationship that you emotionally want to charge or emotionally you want to heal, or go to a mental space on a challenge that you're working on. So I'm going to give you these different tools, very easy. Okay,
Okay.
so in the morning when you get up, everybody says you must start out with drinking a glass of water. So I'm going to ask you, when you do drink your glass of water, don't drink the water, chew the water. So Ayurveda also asks you to do that. But when you chew the water, you allow your saliva to mix with the water and you allow your body to truly welcome that water. So we constantly say 70% of our body is water. But are we changing that water? Are we consciously making sure that that water is beautiful and is loved? So when you take those 7 sips that you're taking, with each sip, allow yourself to plan how your day is going to happen. So take a sip, and you can think of maybe different members of your family. So take a sip and think of the relationship that you have with your husband, and think of it with a smile. And think of it, take a sip and think of a relationship you have with your child and with your mother-in-law, and maybe with yourself. And keep taking 7 sips and enjoy chewing that water. When you get up in the morning, make sure that you start out with a smile, a 60-second smile. Make sure that you watch the very first episode of Mind Your Health, because it's on law of attraction, and it's absolutely beautiful. You're going to be smiling when you hear the entire interview. So hold on to this 60-second smile after you drink your water. At the end of your day, the 10th episode is with talking about this beautiful fear exercise. So can we do it right now, Vandana?
Yeah, let's try.
Yeah. So cover your right hand over your left ear. The
Okay.
exercise asks you to do it normal breath and 50 counts. Because of a paucity of time, we'll do it only 10 counts. I'll count. 1, breathe in and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now cross your left hand over your right ear. Everybody who's listening in as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now cross both hands over or the opposite here. And let's do 10 counts. Everybody who's watching, I hope you're doing it as well. And give us a
Yeah.
thumbs up at the end of the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. So when you do this, it is a fear elimination exercise. But it's a wellness exercise because it's going to make you feel good and you're going to get into a good space. So in the night before you fall asleep, let the day that you have already experienced be in the day that is already experienced. And then once you've done this, you open up a journal or just close your eyes and thank the Almighty, thank God for 3 amazing things that have happened in your day. Find out anything, from the fact that somebody else cooked the khana, or that you cooked the khana and it became so simple, or that you got a fantastic phone call from somebody who you hadn't met in 20 years, or even as simple as you just sat down with your cup of chai for half an hour by yourself and enjoyed it with khari biscuit.
Wow.
whatever, find your three things to thank God for, thank the universe for, and you are gonna sleep like a baby. And this is covered in our journaling episode. So, what we try to do at Mind Your Health, and these are things that I've adopted into my own life. And
Okay.
so I've done conscious parenting. I am part of a tribe of conscious mothers, and we constantly have different exercises. So I've been doing this for the last 8 years, as long as I've had my baby girl, and constantly making sure that I'm bettering who I am. And you know what the good thing is that you don't have to be hard and fast about what you're doing, but you
Mm-hmm.
need to have a wellness practice. And when you do have this wellness practice in place, or wellness time, you can keep doing different things and find out, Vandana, what really, really works for you. And
Mm.
maybe you don't have more than half an hour a day, maybe 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the night. But each time you hold on to a practice for about 2, 3 weeks to see how well it feels for you. And then
Yes.
try something else and see how well that is for you, and get family members in. Try, and as part of everything that you're doing, like a meal time, get everybody in the family to maybe to, like I said earlier, share memories of their childhood, because the
Yes.
best way to exchange our life's learnings is to exchange stories. So go
Absolutely.
go ahead, and maybe you can call out emotions. I call out happy. So all in a safe space like you're creating in Laja, it's a great time to discuss anything, right? And then to find that when so you're working on yourself when everything is calm, the waters are smooth. So when it's really rough out there, and when the storm comes in, guess what? You are strong. You have worked on yourself. So even with emotions, gentle things. When you're sitting around having dinner together or a meal together, you call out happiness, and everybody shows their happy face and mirrors each other, looks at each other. Then you show anger, and everybody shows their angry face, and maybe there'll be some laughter because everybody's is hamming it a little or
Yes.
exaggerating. But you got everybody kind of, and maybe put on music, and the whole family copies each other in a dance step. But what you're really doing is you're getting the family connected, and you're getting yourself into a space of wellness. Anything that makes you feel good is your wellness tool. Anything.
Wow, wow. That's so nice. People have been talking about how terrible this pandemic is and how awful it is. But what I've realized is the fact that everybody is at home, the entire family is locked in. Meal times are getting more interactive now. My husband was somebody who would come back from work and he would switch on the TV and he would say, "This is my team, my time," and he would, sit through dinner watching television. And I know it used to irritate me a lot, and I would try to keep the children encouraged, talking about other stuff. But now I've seen that he automatically switches it off. It's meal time, we'll all sit together. So yes, there are when we started it, my children would look at me and say, "Mama, what is he talking about?" Because for them, this side of daddy was completely new. But now they're enjoying it. They're hearing stories of his childhood and what kind of a brat he was, and they're enjoying it. So if you do point out to the children and say you're being naughty, they say, "Dad was also naughty at his time." So yeah, there was a question which I wanted to ask you about how when life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. And I think this pandemic is one such lemon which came our way. And I think most of us have adapted to it. And, gratitude journal, we've been talking a lot about gratitude journal. A lot of our people have been saying it. And yes, that for people who are listening in, it does work. I have like 3 books here, where there's a book where I vent myself, when I'm really angry about something, and it has a lot of cuss words and all of that. But that's my book where I vent it out. And there are books where I'm like happy about something and I write some lovely stuff. So it helps. Yes, absolutely.
Be completely honest with who you are. There is a good, amazing, peaceful, centered side to you, But there is also a Keisha who can be angry and opinionated and wanting, and having, um, these are the points that I stand by in my life. And so, and this is in all honesty who I am, and being in love and in acceptance of who you are. They say that, there's a story of this old man who was the gatekeeper at the village, and he actually said, uh, when a family was coming in, and this family was with his wife and husband, and they were complaining, and said that village that we left, they're so, everybody was gossiping and they're not nice at all, we're so happy we've left it. So he says, oh, everybody in this village, this city will also be exactly the same. And they go on and they're like, oh, kya abhi yahan par bhi musibat musibat. And then after 10 minutes, another family comes and the wife is crying. She says, we left the most amazing neighbors, they were so loving and so helpful, but we had to move because my husband's job brought him here. And the man says, you will find exactly the same people over here. So the person that you are, you will find exactly the same kind. What? So it's depending on the glasses that you've put on, right? If you
Yes.
put on glasses of love, you will find love in the world reflected back at you. If you put on
Yes.
glasses of complaining, then you will see that come back at you. Wherever we are at, we are at. Wherever we
Absolutely.
are. And then when you make sure that you flourish wherever you are, the mud is required for the lotus to flourish.
Yes. Yes.
Out of the
Absolutely.
teacher is that beautiful flower. Out of life's muck, sometimes some of the most beautiful things. I'm hoping that we're
Yes.
all finding our lotuses in our existence right now. I'm hoping that for everybody who's watching, that you are seeing the flowers bloom in the keycard that you might find around.
Yeah, so wonderful. We have Julie who says hello, Vandana and Kisha. She's been listening to us, and now she says hello. uh, okay,
Awesome.
let's talk about humor. How important is humor to take you through?
What do you
I
what,
believe
what do you think?
I
Intensely. Laugh loudly. Even if you don't really have a sense of humor to come up with the one-liners, you and your spouse put on the hazaro comedy shows that are now recorded and laugh together. There is nothing like a couple who laughs together, who stays together. Because the more laughter in your relationship, with your children, with the tickling and the hugs and the pillow fights, and the laughter can get you through anything. Laughter can also hide a lot of things. Laughter can,
yes,
but a sense of humor allows you to be able, even the darkest night, becomes gentler in being accepted when there is a smile. So laugh and bring in a sense of humor when people are feeling a little low. Don't crack a joke at them. Always crack jokes with people. So
hmm,
everybody included in, and a lot of times crack jokes on yourself. But a sense of humor can lift up anybody's spirits if it is used in the right way. Don't make fun of people, because a lot of us are feeling excluded, are feeling unaccepted right now, and a lot of times we may not even be accepting who we are not even including ourselves in feeling well in life. So to include everybody, to get the laughter loud, even do laughter yoga. Why not? Just do the silent laugh, the loud laugh, the and the what I was telling you, right? Sitting around in a meal and passing emotions around, or a song around, memories around, pass laughter around. So everybody does. So let's do it, Vandana. Everybody who's listening right now, everybody go ha ha ha,
ha ha ha,
ho ho ho,
ho ho ho.
he he he, hey, hey, hey. So just do that. Sometimes you just need to ham it, fake it a little, and it's not really faking it. It's an exercise, right? You're allowing your body to actually, so even a lot of times when you're watching a football match and you're not even in, you're not playing, but if you're watching the match, you'll actually feel that that part of your body tenses, like you're kicking the ball.
Yes,
So a
yes,
lot of times your body thinks that you're involved. When you're laughing, your body feels that there is a lot of reason to be happy. The cells which were feeling
absolutely.
sick get lifted up. There are these happy endorphins that are moving through your body, and your brain is dancing with all these twinkling lights going off. So just use laughter. If you don't, if the taglines are not coming to you, जो एक one liners होते हैं, वो, that is not happening, go ahead and just laugh together as a family. Another
Absolutely.
wellness exercise before every
Yes.
meal. Before every meal, not on a full stomach, but before every meal. While you're serving everybody, everybody goes ha ha ha, he, ho ho ho. Just laugh.
Yes, yes, that's so wonderful. I did, recently do a workshop, and I was one of the participants, and we had to go through these, voice modulation exercises. And I remember, we were all sitting in our rooms and doing these exercises, and it was a laugh riot. And till date, if you look at all the participants, they'll say that was the best class of all the classes. So it is so lovely, and wow, thank you. My smile is always broad, but I'm like widened now. Thank you so much. So yes, you know what? We're running short of time, and talking to you has been so wonderful. But before we go, I want you to leave my audience with five positive things that they can start, with their lives, and hopefully we all move towards a better, a more hopeful, a more happy life. So five things for my audience.
Okay, so everybody who's listening in now, are you ready? That is what life is
Yes.
saying every single moment. And you have to say, what do you have to say, Vandana?
Yes.
Yes. So make sure that you are in every moment as aware that you can be. So when you are feeling down and out, it's okay sometimes to just switch off that laptop, switch off the gas, close the door, put on the AC, make sure that you are comfortable and go to sleep. Please make sure that you look after the way that you are feeling. And sometimes you just need to leave it all outside the door and go to sleep. Listen to yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So make sure that you and sleep not only during the day when you need to run away from things, but because I do that sometimes, and it's not running away, it's actually collecting yourself. But sleep in the night, sleep at the same time every night, and guess what, your body is going to wake up at the same time every morning. I don't wake up with an alarm, my body just wakes up at 5:45. So
Wow.
I don't need an alarm, and I'm also shocked that it happens. I'm like, "Sahi mein, it actually happens." So I tried putting, but there are days when my body just
Obviously.
doesn't. But you're listening to your the inner clock, the way that your body is functioning. So sleep at the same time every single night. Make sure that uh, you. So I'm going to give you, along with that, along with the sleep, the 4 eyes. Okay,
Okay.
work on who you are as a person. Be as interesting as you can to yourself, that you would enjoy hanging out with yourself. So make sure that you're exercising, make sure that you're looking after your physical self as much as possible, make sure that you're eating right, make sure that you're taking care of the way you think, the way. So read interesting books, make sure that you're as interesting, because you like hanging out with an interesting person, right? You like
Yes, yes.
hanging out with somebody who gives out the right kind of conversation, who knows the right things to say. It's nice to be in their company. Well, be that person. Be as interesting as you can by investing in yourself as much as possible. Two, be as inquisitive about life as possible.
Wow.
Make sure that if you read a name and you can't place the name, or if somebody in an interesting conversation drops a topic, go ahead and read up about that topic. Be inquisitive about all that life can offer you. You can't learn everything, but you can
Everything.
learn some stuff. So be inquisitive, be in conversation with anybody and everybody, because everybody's got beautiful stories to tell you and everybody's life will enrich you. Robin Sharma actually says for children, one of the most amazing things would be to invite people who have amazing life stories to tell to your dinner table so your children can hear from them and can learn from their life. The second best is to read autobiographies. But you know what? You have your dinner table and your interesting conversations at every nook and corner. So, from the lift man or the security guard in your building, you know how he came from his village, who's living back there, how is he living here all alone, how, show understanding and curiosity, and be in conversation with the chairperson of a company, be in conversation with your neighbors, be in conversation with your family members, be in conversation with yourself. And finally, be in balance with everything that life is throwing at you. And life enjoys, Vandana, catch. Life enjoys making sure that she throws lemons at you, she throws apples at you, she throws ice cream at you. Sometimes it's not the most comfortable things that she throws at you, but you are in balance and you can catch and catch. And you find that you have centered yourself enough with mindfulness, with self work, with self love, with sleep. For me, sleep is very, very big,
Okay.
and with making sure that you have beautiful, nurturing relationships all around you. So make sure that you sleep. And then the four eyes. Be in as interesting as you can. Make sure that you are always
Mm.
inquisitive about life. Make sure that you're in conversation. Make sure that you're in balance. And you are going to enjoy the I that you become.
Wow, that was so amazing. We have Julie Tucker who's saying that the analogy of the lens that you said, the kind of glasses you put on, she loved it. And, we were talking about making faces and laughter. Her daughter enjoys doing it. And Riddhi has also joined us and she's saying, I love that. So she loved the exercise that we did. Wow, this is, I was normally I look at the comments and then I keep bringing them in. But today's conversation was so you know uh, so engaging, and you had me in place, you had me sitting at the edge of my chair. And thank you so much. You have, this day is indeed blessed. Thank you so much. Thank you. So
But
with
we're all just sharing, Vandana. That is it. We're all just sharing. So, being in conversation, we've nurtured each other and we've nurtured everybody who's watched. Make
watched.
sure that you're constantly taking out into the world all that you are. Keep giving, because the more that you're sharing who you are, the more you're receiving back. And I'm hoping that you get a chance to mind your health. I just saw that on the screen. But mind your health is my serving to you, and I'm hoping that you're going to be able to savor it very gently and enjoy it, and peacefully enjoy being the person that you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, all of you watching out there, please do visit her YouTube channel also. Mind your health. I'm for sure going to do that. And thank you, Kesha. Thank you so much for making this conversation so lively, so fun, and so energetic. And there have been so many takeaways. So, thank you. Like Riddhi says, thank you, Dil say. Yes, yes. Please go
And
ahead.
and before we go, this is something I learned from Riddhi. Open your hands out wide,
Yeah.
wide, 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 and give yourself the biggest hug. Yes. A big
No.
hug, tighter, 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 tighter. Squeeze yourself and tell yourself you absolutely love being who you are. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you once again. Thank you so much, Kisha. I hope that we get a chance to meet face to face sometime soon. And Let the energy, keep building up. Let it just grow. Thank you so much. Bye bye.